Hey YouTubers, so I want to make a video talking about psychological terms and music videos. And actually I want to make this a kind of more of an ongoing thing. I've actually kind of loved the lately, as I'm learning in school about psychology and the psychological terms, music has helped me out a ton. Certain songs I listen to, I find out they relate really well to psychological terms. So I actually want to also focus some of my videos more on this. So if you have a music video and you think of some kind of psychological thing you want to define more, hey, pass it along to me. And I'll go research it and see if I can define that more for you. One of the things me and my INTJ love to do together is rip apart lyrics. Right, about a year or two ago, we were really trying to rip apart the song The Diary of Jane. That's a very interesting song, trying to figure out what is going on in that song. It's very difficult. One of the songs I recently ripped apart that I love is Pompeii by Bastille. I'll talk about that one a little bit later for all you Bastille fans who, and I did on their YouTube video kind of talk about what I think Pompeii means in mine. And I was told that I had a good theory, so it is a very good theory what I think of Pompeii. But right now we're actually going to talk about Raging Fire by Phillip Phillips. I actually was going to school, and in two of my classes, my psychology of sexuality and gender class, both times we came up with the Steinbergs triangular theory of love, and we had to talk about that and write on that. And it was actually the time that I also discovered Phillip Phillips. No, I didn't discover him when he was on American Idol 2 years ago. Actually, recently, as I was going to work every single morning, that song Gone, Gone, Gone kept playing and playing and playing and playing and playing till I liked it. I didn't like it first all, but that whole thing kept sticking with me out through the day, and so I kept singing it in my head, so I had to go home and find out who it was, and I found out it was Phillip Phillips, and so I wanted to see what else he was up to. I found Raging Fire. I didn't really like it the first time I listened to it. I didn't really get it, but I listened to it a couple more times, because I really like the video and stuff, and I really become a huge fan of Raging Fire. And so, give me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so anyways, hope I wasn't gone too long. Okay, so, let's continue on. So, I used Phillip Phillips' song in my paper to explain further my theory. And I loved every moment of it. It was great, how the two theories and the song came together. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain that a little bit more. Here's my lovely chalkboard wall that I painted outside of my computer room 2 years ago, because I knew that going to school, this would come in handy, and it has come in handy tremendously well. I love this chalkboard wall. It has been a tremendous help. Now, where did I do with my chalk? That's all I could figure out. I set that down somewhere. Okay, there's where I set it down. So, let's talk about, I don't know how many people have studied psychology and heard of Steinberg's theory. I didn't know about it until I started going to class, and then I was told about it, and it was part of my assignment. And so it's one of the things that it's very important to go to school, even though you think you know a lot about psychology or whatever, and you're interested in it. Going to school will open your eyes a lot more to a lot more theories and a lot more things that are going on. So in Steinberg's theory of, there are 3 types of love. So first over here, if you have this corner is passion. So if you have passion for somebody, and only passion, then you have what's called an infatuation with them. So this is infatuation. So you have an infatuation love. You sexually desire them. You want them physically. That's what passion is. You have a physical desire to be with them. So this is what most people have towards famous people. You have an infatuation with them. You can see yourself being with them. You want to be with them. You have this infatuation. And so that's all you have. If you just have an infatuation with them, you just have passion for them. Up here, we have intimacy. If you just have intimacy with somebody, which intimacy, most people actually think intimacy has to deal with sex, but it doesn't. See, passion is more the sexual one. Intimacy is more of a deep caring for somebody. And intimacy does not have to be between you and a mate. You can deeply care for somebody and their well-being and not be sexual with them and have passion. You can just have intimacy. So if you just have intimacy for somebody, it's actually called liking. You just like them. You have a liking for them. You like them. You have intimacy. You have a deep caring for them. You could do that for your friends. You could do that for your family. You can do that for your significant other. You can just have a liking relationship, and that's all you need. Now down here in this corner we have commitment. If you can make a commitment to, this is the interesting one, you can make a commitment to anything. A person or even just a physical object. It doesn't have to literally be a living person. Commitment, we all know what that is. It's a contract. It's a binding thing. You are committed to that person. You are making a choice to be committed to that person. You are making a choice to be committed to them in the future. That's what commitment is, a current and future choice, a free will choice to be committed to them. So, if you're just committed to somebody, you don't sexually desire them, and you don't have that intimacy for them, you don't have that deep caring for them, you don't have the deep caring. You just are committed to be there for it. You commit to a house, you commit to pretty much your job, you commit to a lot of things, you commit to everything. So, now, if you sexually desire somebody, and you also care for their well-being, you actually have what's called a romantic love. You have romance. That's where romance comes in, is when you have those two. You have the intimacy and you have the passion for them. You sexually desire them. You want to be with them. You care for them deeply. But you don't have that commitment. You haven't made that commitment. Don't know why. You may not ever make that commitment. Some couples can last off this forever. They don't get married. They don't. So you ever wonder why these people don't want to get married? They don't want to make this step. They're okay with this. They have a romantic love. They're fine. They're fine right there. So over here, if you do have passion for them and you commit to them, but you don't have that deep caring for them, so all you do is sexually desire them and you make a commitment to them, you have what's called a fatuous love. So you just don't deeply care for them. And that makes, this relationship is kind of hard, this fatuous relationship, because it makes it easier for that commitment to fall apart, because you don't have that deep caring and bond for them, and commitments can come and go. Commitments, you really don't stay for them, especially when you're only committed to somebody because you sexually desire them. I mean, these kind of relationships, this has got to be a very, very harsh relationship to be in. So, but if you're committed to the person and you have a deep caring for them, you have what's called a compassionate love. And a lot of people have this. A lot of parents have this. They have compassion for each other. They really care for each other. They've made that commitment in life. They want to continue to be with that person, but they just don't have passion. They don't sexually desire each other. Has it been there before? I don't know. So, but there's also, of course, what if you have all three of them? What happens when you have all three? You have what's called a consummate love. So when you have that consummate love, it means you have everything. You sexually desire them. You deeply care for them. You want to be with them, and you want to be with them in your future. You want them everywhere. So what happens when people have this consummate love? When you get married, what is the first thing somebody tells you? They say the number one advice you always hear when you get married is, you will fall in and out of love. And when you don't love your spouse at that time, still stick with it, blah, blah, blah. Actually, if you apply Phillip's song and this, you actually find out there is no such thing as, love is not black and white. You're not either in it or out of it. This whole thing is the gray area. Steinbergs is the gray area. Because it's not black and white. So, you find somebody that you start liking them, then you start desiring them, then you make a commitment to be together. So now you're together, you're in this consummate love, you're married, and all of a sudden, you start to feel like that saying of love is going, okay? But it's not. What it is you're falling out of consummate love, and you're probably falling into compassion. You're losing passion right here. You're losing this right here. And now, you're no longer this, you're actually this now. Because you're not one or the other at all times in Steinberg's thing. You can jump around this triangle with your spouse. So that's not falling in and out of love. That's bouncing around this triangle. You're a little ball in here, and you're bouncing around this triangle, and you're hitting different points at different points in your marriage with different things that come up. And so one of the things is, the best advice you can give somebody in a marriage is this. When you're bouncing around this triangle, try and focus on keeping that ball in the center. Do what you can to get that back there. And that's what Phillip Phillips talks about in his song. Let's look at Phillip's lyrics. He says, in his chorus, he says, so come out, won't you turn my soul into a raging fire? Come out, till we lose control into a raging fire. So basically, raging fire, a fire, the burning, the soul, is usually that desire, that passion right there. That's that desire you have for somebody. It dies. So you go from being this to this. So now you're committed to them and you still care for their well-being, but you've lost this. And so Phillip Phillips' song is actually begging and pleading out of that desire of, bring that passion back. Bring that desire back into our marriage. Don't let it go out. Don't let that flame go out. He says, let's see. Let the world leave us behind. Let your heart be next to mine. Before the flame goes out tonight, we can live until we die. I love that whole we can live until we die, because you can live in this till you die. You can live in this. There's nothing wrong with that. Except for the fact that you will always desire this to be brought back in so that you can be here. And that's what this pleads for. That's what this whole song pleads for. Even though you've changed, I'm still here with you. If you listen close, you'll hear the sounds of all the ghosts that bring us down. Hold on to what makes you feel. Don't let go. It's what makes you real. Because oftentimes in our marriage, we listen to too many other people on how to handle our marriage. But we listen to them. Don't listen to the ghosts in the past. Focus now. Bring out that raging fire. Bring that passion back. Get back to that consummate love. So you don't fall in and out of love. You bounce around this. And that's one thing that I loved about Phillip Phillips' song. That's one thing that I spent a little bit of time studying that song and studying Steinberg's theory, and I love it. I have a passion. I have an infatuation for that song. That you don't fall in and out of love. This is the best advice I can give to you guys, especially anybody who is thinking about getting married or is currently married and struggling. This is the best advice I can ever give to you, and I think that anybody could give to anybody. You're not falling in and out of love. You're bouncing around Steinberg's triangle. Focus. Know what all three of them are. Bring it back. Bring it back to that center. Center yourselves. Find out, which one did you lose? Which one did you lose? Where did that ball go? Which one did you lose? What love did you become? And how bad, how committed are you to each other to get one of these back, to move from the middle, to move from the edge of the triangle back to that center? Because at one time, in a true love, that you got married, you had this. You had this. At one time, you had this for each other. That means it can come back. That doesn't mean you have to revert back to who you were when you first got married. That just means you have to remember why you got married, and it wasn't, hopefully it wasn't because like he was so hot and I got the hottest husband. He's so sexy. We can kiss. We know how to kiss. He kisses hot. Okay? That's this right here. Okay? That's all you have for them. You don't really have this for them. You have this for them. So, also to all the Phillip Phillips fans, Raging Fire, who have seen his video, I am also an artist and I love to draw. So here's to you, Phillips. I drew this. This is my little marker drawing of Raging Fire. I love the video. I love everything you do. I'm an artist. I love to do art. I actually often do art. I love everything in the arts. I do this for Phillips and put on his Facebook. I don't know if he got it, but I do love art. It's one of my natural abilities that came to me also. Oh, actually, you know what? This is the picture I need to show. This one. Aha! That one's better. I can't believe I didn't see that one. I like this one much better. Okay, there we go, Phillip. There we go. To all you Phillip fans and Raging Fire fans, gotta love it. Steinberg Theory, Raging Fire. Read it, feel it, listen to it. Listen to Phillip's song. That'll help bring back some of that passion. So remember, you don't fall in and out of love. You just bounce around this triangle. So, well, if you have any questions for me, let me know. I'll make another video and answer. It's been great. I love this. I have a passion for this and I love talking about this. So, thanks so much and talk to you later.